plenty to talk about both locally and nationally. We have a trio of NBA writers sharing their thoughts with us tonight. We're going to start with Adam Himmelsbach. He covers the Celtics for the Boston Globe. The landscape has changed. I got his thoughts on the state of the team, players in, players out, and what it all means.
Yeah, of course, the biggest thing is that all indications are that Kemba Walker is a Celtic, and it's pretty unusual to have one all-star point guard leave and seem like your team's about to be in disarray, and you're able to bring in another one. I was told he's here in Boston meeting with the Celtics top brass, and they're really excited about kind of getting started with him. People I've talked to around the league, they're excited to see how kind of Brad Stevens can unlock some of his talents. Celtics have really, they've been fortunate. You go from Isaiah Thomas to Kyrie Irving to Kemba Walker, but when you toss him into some of these kind of pick and rolls, you toss him into dribble handoffs, like he's going to be dangerous. Right now, the bigger issue if you're the Celtics is you're looking at losing Al Horford, who was just a huge weapon for Kyrie out of those pick and rolls. They're going to find someone else. They're going to have to find someone else that can work with Kemba in those situations. Everyone I've spoken to around the league has just had glowing reviews for Kemba as a person. Obviously people around here are familiar with him a little bit from his time at UConn, but even in his games where when he's played against the Celtics in the past, he's just known as a genuinely good guy who works hard and has leadership qualities. I think that would be a real help. And you can tell the Celtics are clearly establishing a roster now that is kind of built on character guys. They're getting back to that.
Yeah, he has lit up the Celtics, that's for sure. So these transactions can't become official till the end of the week. So there has been some talk about the Celtics trying to maximize what they can do financially. How do they do that? To try to work a sign and trade deal with Irving or Horford. That means the Nets or the Sixers would have to be willing to dance. Very complicated. So Brian Robb from the Boston Sports Journal joined me earlier to help explain how it all works.
Moving Kyrie or Al Horford as a sign and trade in that kind of maneuver, since doing that would allow them to stay above the salary cap, which would, I'm not going to get too technical about it, but it gives them a bigger mid-level exception to use, $9 million as opposed to $4.7 million if they ended up trading Al for Kemba in a three-team trade or trading Kyrie for Kemba in a three-team trade. The problem now for the Celtics is in order to do that kind of a deal, you have to make the trade with one of your direct rivals, whether it's the Nets in Brooklyn or the Sixers in Philly, and neither of those teams have much incentive to help you. So they're not going to facilitate a deal to help you get a better player to help you out because they don't want to do that. They want to make you worse, obviously. So the Celtics will have to weigh whether they want to give a first-round pick or potentially two in order to do that. But if neither of those teams want to do that or have a higher asking price than the Celtics can reach, then they're going to be kind of stuck back to square one and, using just a room level exception, $4.5 million to find their next big man.
Like I said, pretty complicated. Wild day all around. Jimmy Butler headed to the Heat. Durant choosing the Nets, a big deal. Still no word on Kawhi Leonard, and some teams just left holding the bag with nothing to show for it. Gary Washburn covers the NBA for the Globe. We asked him to share some thoughts on the biggest winner and the biggest loser on night one of free agency.
The winner, you got to say the Brooklyn Nets. Getting Durant and Kyrie Irving, this is a team that obviously was in New Jersey for years and were kind of overshadowed by the Knicks. And they got to Brooklyn and they made that trade with the Celtics that put them back 5 years. So now they're back. There's respect now in Brooklyn. They got a, obviously new arena, just a team that's on the rise. And now they get two of the league top 10 players, although one will be hurt next year out with an injury for next year. That's still very much a winner. The losers, the New York Knicks. This team, this franchise is a snake bit. They've saved max money in 2010 to get LeBron James. That didn't work. They saved it in 2014 to get LeBron James. That didn't work. And now they saved it in 2019 to get Kyrie and Kevin Durant. They end up with neither, even though they're the New York team and the team that everyone apparently wants to play for, and to be in Tinseltown and Big Apple and be the next great New York athlete. However, that just didn't work out. And so the losers are the New York Knicks. Major losers. They were able to pick up a couple of guys in free agency, Julius Randle. It just did not work out the way they planned, and the Knicks are still one of the worst teams in the Eastern Conference.